You stay quiet. You play nice. You believe that by staying out of the fray, you're the ultimate peacekeeper. You listen. You nod. You hope that being a patient ear makes you a loyal friend. But there is a truth, an uncomfortable, heavy truth. Every time you nod along to a rumor, you aren't just being polite. You are handing over the master key to your reputation and inviting the neighbors to treat your living room like a toxic landfill. You are signaling, my time is cheap. My name is cheaper. Use it. And once that reputation sticks, the gossipers will never leave. Not because they trust you, not because they like you. They stay because they've realized you lack the iron boundaries to shut them down. But here is what most people fail to grasp. Shutting down a rumor doesn't have to be a fight. You don't need to deliver a sermon. You don't have to act holier than thou. If you handle it correctly, you don't just end the drama. You gain massive, silent respect. So, I spent the last week digging into social psychology. I wanted to solve one specific problem. How do you kill gossip without looking like a buzzkill or ruining the mood? In this video, you are going to discover 3 things. Why our brains find gossip almost impossible to resist. 4 psychology-based methods to shut it down effortlessly. And finally, 2 advanced techniques for when you are done putting up with toxic energy. Period. By the end of this, you won't see a rumor as a social trap. You'll see it as a hidden chance to prove your worth. You know, honestly, this might be the most important social skill you'll ever learn. Although, maybe you should see for yourself. Let's start with the basics. Why do we feel the need to talk? Why do we pick people apart? Evolutionary psychologist Robin Dunbar suggested that gossip wasn't born out of spite. It evolved to bind us. Thousands of years ago, trading stories was how we survived. It was the original social mortar that held the tribe together against the world. But here is the irony. The very thing that once unified us is now what tears us apart. In the modern world, gossip doesn't foster trust. It generates anxiety. It builds walls. It fuels paranoia. It slowly erodes your professional standing until the ground beneath you begins to give way. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, put it perfectly. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Simple, clean. Yet somehow that fundamental rule is ignored every single hour of every single day. There is a psychological term you need to understand: triangulation. This happens when someone tries to pull you onto a sinking raft built from the wreckage of other people's secrets. It feels flattering. It feels like you're in the inner circle. But here is the truth. If they are talking to you about others, they are absolutely talking about you to others. That is why I love Mel Robbins' personal standard. She says, I don't discuss people who aren't in the room. You don't even have to announce this. Just adopt it. Make it your internal compass. It changes everything. You stop seeing gossip as harmless banter. You start seeing it as a game you never signed up to play. This is where most people get it wrong. They hear a rumor. They feel that knot of discomfort. They try to shut it down head on. And instantly, they are labeled. Too intense. No fun. Or worse, they become the next target for the group. That is the backfire effect. When people feel judged, they don't change. They dig their heels in. Most gossipers don't see themselves as toxic. They think they are venting. They think they are being real. So, when you attack them, you don't enlighten them, you just look rigid. True social wisdom isn't about fighting the drama. It's about refusing to walk onto a floor that someone has just covered in flypaper. You cannot control what others say. You can only master your own reaction. And that is where psychology offers us some remarkably smooth ways to win without a fight. Strategy number 1. The positive pivot. Imagine a colleague starts trashing Mike. Most people freeze. Some give a nervous laugh. But what if you said, "Really, that's interesting. I've actually had a totally different experience. He was incredibly helpful to me on that last project." Gossip? Dead. No fight, no awkwardness. Here's why this works. Gossip is a wildfire that can only leap the road if you provide the bridge of your own agreement. It relies on social bonding theory. People whisper to feel connected, especially when they feel insecure. By remaining calm and positive, you take away that shared negative energy. It creates cognitive dissonance, that slight mental itch when someone's kindness clashes with their own negativity. The person might not apologize, but they will stop. Marcus Aurelius said it best. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. When you respond with quiet dignity, you don't just stop the gossip, you raise the standard of the entire room. Strategy number 2, the neutral buffer. Sometimes being nice isn't enough. Being neutral buffer, you can just probably bid with the neutral buffer. Strategy number 2, the neutral buffer. Sometimes being enough to me to be different. Let's say, this is across the read with neutral buffers, so when you consider to win of the bridge is not being with you. Strategy number 3, the gossiper pushes back. Here is your response. Stay completely neutral. Could be, everyone sees things differently. Or maybe he was just having a rough morning. Stress can make anyone act a bit off. That's it. No defense, no counterattack. Just steady, boring neutrality. Psychologists call this emotional reframing. You are draining the emotional juice out of the rumor before it can ferment into something bitter. It's not about taking sides. It's about snipping the wires before the spark of drama can turn your house into an inferno. When you reframe a rumor with empathy, the temperature drops. You move from us versus him to maybe there's more to the story. In Stoic philosophy, there is a concept called sympathia, the idea that we are all connected, that people usually act out of confusion, not malice. That mindset protects your peace, and it protects your reputation. Strategy number 3, the tactical redirect. Now that you've neutralized the emotion, it's time to change the channel. Just say something effortless. Anyway, did you see the new office layout plan? It looks pretty ambitious. Or, by the way, how is your team handling the new software update? That is the move. You hand the microphone back to them. You steer the talk toward facts or their own lives. This is topic shifting. You don't embarrass them. You don't cause a scene. You just guide the ship elsewhere. Think of it as switching the tracks on a runaway train so it bypasses your station entirely. You don't stand in its way. You just make sure it doesn't stop at your door. Strategy number 4. The humor break. Sometimes a light touch is the best tool. When the drama starts getting heated, drop something playful. Wow, we're starting to sound like a Netflix original series. I can't keep up with all these plot twists. People will laugh. The tension breaks. But don't stop there. If you just laugh and stay, they'll think you're enjoying it. So, as soon as the laughter subsides, pivot. Anyway, speaking of Netflix, has anyone seen that new documentary? Or, man, I need a coffee after all this intensity. Anyone else need a refill? Smooth. Balanced. Non-confrontational. Psychologists call this relief theory. Humor vents the pressure. It resets the mood. It's like throwing open a window in a room that's become suffocating with the smell of stale air. Even Seneca noted centuries ago, "It is more fitting for a man to laugh at life than to lament over it." When you use humor correctly, you aren't avoiding the issue. You are mastering it. Now, let's be honest. Sometimes the person talking isn't just bored. They are a drain on your soul. You don't care about being smooth anymore. You just want to leave. Here is what you do. Technique number 1. The gray rock method. Become the most boring person in the world. Give one-word answers. Show zero facial expression. Oh, interesting. Didn't hear that. I see. Psychologists recommend this for people who feed on attention. When a rumor gets no reaction, it withers. No fuel, no fire. Technique number 2. The gentle boundary. If you want to be direct, be direct. Hey, I'm really trying to keep a positive headspace today. I'd rather not talk about people who aren't here. Can we talk about something else? Keep your voice steady. Keep it polite. And if things get a bit awkward, good. They should. That is how social norms are corrected. Sometimes a little bit of awkwardness is the only way people learn where the line is. And remember, anyone who gossips with you will eventually gossip about you. Guard your energy. Protect your name. Here is the ultimate truth. Gossip isn't actually about the person being discussed. It is about you. It is a test of your discipline, your empathy, your self-respect. You cannot stop rumors from existing in the world, but you can make them irrelevant to your life. Epictetus said it nearly 2,000 years ago. You cannot control others, only yourself. So, when you choose to step away from the noise, you aren't just protecting your vibe, you are building your character. Because in a society where everyone is talking, the person who listens with intent, speaks with kindness, and refuses to be swept away by the mudslide of small talk is the only one standing on solid ground. That is the person who truly earns everyone's respect. Because when the noise finally stops, only those on solid ground remain. And maybe, just maybe, that's the only place worth standing. Think about it. So tell me, which of these moves are you going to use next time the drama starts?